Today on the Billionaire Belief Show, we will be discussing relentless execution and adaptability. Speed plus learning equals market domination. Let's dive on in. This is part 2 of the 3 core Billionaire Belief series. And in this video, again, I just wanted to quickly go over the key components of this aspect of the Billionaire Belief. Relentless execution and adaptability. The first point you got to understand here is billionaires move quickly. They don't take it slow. They're not looking for perfection. They move quickly. They move fast and they iterate faster. And by iterate, I mean I idealize in a sense, or they test out their ideas. Like they're not sitting around waiting for perfection. They're not sitting around waiting for somebody else to do something for them. They're coming up with their idea and they're moving fast about it. They're executing. They're implementing ideas about it. They're testing ideas about it. It's at a rate of speed to the point where they don't have to be concerned with their competition per se, because again, just their speed of execution. So they launch, they test, and they pivot quickly. That's what one of the cornerstone differences, or one of the things that distinguishes billionaires from everyone else is the billionaire takes action fast so that they can fail faster, so that they can figure out if their concept is viable or not, so they can figure out if they need to pivot or not. They're not waiting years, days long, years, days, months, hours, and minutes to take action. You know how there's people you see every now and then, and they're always telling you about how they're working on this great idea, and then every time you see them, which is every now and then, you ask them like, well, how's everything going? And they're like, oh, well, I'm still working on it. I'm still waiting on this to happen, or I'm still waiting on that to happen. The reality is they're not thinking like the A students of entrepreneurship at the end of the day. They're thinking like a student more often than not, a student that's waiting for permission to take action, because they don't understand yet that speed, not perfection, is what matters in the marketplace. Billionaires move fast and they iterate faster. So they test, they launch, they fail, and then they pivot a lot more quicker than the average bear. All right. So that's it for that segment. Now, the next point. Billionaires, they don't just work hard. They work strategically. They double down on what works and they eliminate inefficiencies. This is a very important point as well, because it brings up a problem that I'm noticing a lot in this day and age. And that problem is everybody is trying to use the past to create the future when it comes to how they work. And that, people are still operating off of, industrial aged thinking, industrial age concepts, and that, we go to work for 9 to 5, or, you got to work 40 hours a week. It's like, even though we all can see that, we are now living in a digital first world, it's like we are still operating as if we are still in an analog industrial world. And that's an advantage that billionaires take advantage of, because they don't care about working hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, if anything, if they're working hard in a sense, physically, I should say, working hard, then they know that they've made a mistake. That's why they work strategically. They're not trying to do what they feel good about, in a sense. They only want to concern themselves with what is going to help them make progress forward. So they might want to do something and they might feel good about that thing they want to do, but if that thing proves to be inefficient, then they're going to eliminate it regardless of how they feel about it. They're not going to just keep doing something, as we say, they cut their losses early. Like, they're not just going to keep hanging on to something because they just feel good about it, or it was their idea, or they like it, regardless if their team likes it. No, that's not how the billionaires, the A students of entrepreneurship, are operating. They are operating from the perspective of, we need to work strategically, not harder. And that means that we go double down on what works. And that means that we're going to go eliminate everything that doesn't work, everything that's not effective, and everything that's not and everything that's not efficient, regardless of how I feel about it as the leader of the show. So the level up here is, stop trying to work harder. And by working harder, specifically, stop trying to trade time for money. Start using these noodles in between your ears to think strategically, to identify a problem, come up with a solution, and then build a system that delivers the solution to the customer. Like, that's how you got to start thinking. Not, okay, I see a problem. Oh, I'm a plumber, or I'm an HVAC guy, or I'm an electrician. Oh, let me go learn how to do it and then so I can go do this. Like no. That's not how you build a $1 billion service business or $100 million or multi-billion-dollar service business. You got leverage and you got strategy. So the level up here is starting to think more strategically in regards to how you're going to identify a problem, come up with a solution for that problem, and then come up with a system that delivers a solution to people that had a problem. That's the level up. And then doubling down on everything that works to make that happen and letting go of everything that doesn't work to make that happen. That's how you level up. So next point, they embrace failure as data. That's still a part of me, but they embrace failure as data and use it to fine tune their approach, always adapting to market shifts. Because most people have been formally educated and are performance-based learners, unbeknownst to them, as I had to learn the hard way, we are stuck in this like permission-based train of thought where we are trying to seek the approval of individuals we identify as authority figures in the name of trying to be perfect. And the reason why we're in this mindset and why we have this culture of you got to have the right answer is because that was how we were raised to think throughout K through 12 in school. You got to get the right answer or you got it wrong. And if you get too many wrong, then you're going to fail. Most people are gung-ho on not trying to fail. So it's not necessarily that people, students per se, or anybody per se, is actually trying to learn something when it comes to educating themselves and skilling up, especially in school. No, they're just trying not to fail. So they have a fear of failure. So their fear of failure is inhibiting them from understanding that failure is actually a good thing because failure gives you data that you need in order to fine-tune your approach so that you can adapt quickly when things are shifting. But if you are still stuck in your permission-based, authority-based thinking from school, where you have to raise your hand to ask for permission to go to the restroom, where you have to raise your hand to speak, where you have to, get permission to do stuff, like grow up. You're an adult now. You don't need nobody's permission to do something. All you need is an idea and an unshakable belief in yourself to move forward. That's all you need. Moving forward, embrace failure. Embrace it. View it as data. View it as the information that you now have that you can evaluate to, again, think more strategically, identify things that work so you can double down on those things, and then identify things that didn't work so you can eliminate those things so that you can adapt and move forward. So that's the name of the game right there. Like that's one of the things that billionaires understand about life and this thing called entrepreneurship. The A students of entrepreneurship, I should say, that's one thing they understand that most people walking the face of the earth don't. Failure is data. Fail fast. Don't be afraid to fail. Like get over that idea or this belief that there's something wrong with you if you fail. No, there's not anything wrong with you if you fail. There is something wrong with you if you actually allow the failure to lead to you being self-defeated to where you're not making no progress forward. That would be the true failure. Relentless execution and adaptability. So we want to make sure that we understand that speed plus learning is what leads to market domination, not perfection plus learning. So get out of this perfection, permission-based mindset and start for being a relentless executor and an adapter. All right. And then I know as long as you do that, you will always be able to put yourself in a position to ever increase your probability of success no matter what you decide to do in life. So on that note, feel free to use the comment section to leave some questions. If you have some feedback, please feel free to share it there. And if you want to get up close and personal, feel free to DM me so we can set up a strategy call. So on that note, it was a pleasure as always. I look forward to speaking to you soon. Make it a great day. Peace.